Hey everybody, I recently made a post and decided to make this video responding to the most popular thing in that post, which I see here, a matchup guide for Aatrox, new matchup guide for Aatrox, more content for how to play top laners, things like that. So what I decided to do is we're going to go through basically every champion that I think is relevant, and we're going to talk about the general playstyle, runes, items, any of those things that can help you as Aatrox in particular, but a lot of other champions. If you're not interested in Aatrox, I'll tell you things that other champions can also do that will help you learn these matchups better. Now, I'm not going to be showing you like individual gameplay footage because that would literally take me 19 years to edit and find high-ranking matchups for those champions. So, yeah, just bear with me on this one. Now, everyone make sure to like, everyone make sure to subscribe, everyone make sure to leave a comment down below. And all those things help me and continue to support videos like these. Now, let's go through Fiora. The number one thing you can do with Aatrox into Fiora, and if you guys have watched my stream, you see me do this again. You have to play defensively. You need to play back into the lane, and I pulled up runes here. The most important thing you can do against Fiora is bone plating. Fiora's Q will proc her passive, which procs bone plating. Her passive then will obviously do less damage. So if Fiora Qs into you when you have bone plating up, you're already going to be taking less damage. Then if she autos you, there's a bone plating proc, and when you have bone plating up, you can respond into her. So if she Qs into you when you have bone plating and she starts trying to auto you, you can turn back and fight her knowing that, well, hey, I got bone plating, I'm going to probably win this trade. Also, by playing back behind the minion wave, that enables you to get minion aggro to hit her more often with the minions. Just try to pull back, use your Qs. Don't go for the crits early on unless she has parry. It gets complicated. It gets really complicated. I would recommend watching me play against Fiora, particularly for this one, because it's hard to say specifically, like, when do you go for a Q against Fiora? When should you not? Generally speaking, save your E, put a Q over her that's going to crit. She'll parry E away, so like dash out of her parry then. You won't do damage, but you'll get through her parry, and once her parry is down, you can typically do some janky stuff. You can also put a W over her. If she tries to parry the W, you dodge the parry, then you hit her with a Q. Ignite, that one's real important. Ignite. You have to go ignite into Fiora because that's how you're going to deny her healing. Fiora heals a lot. Deny her healing. Try to bait her back. Use Qs. Try to throw down a Q. E it into her. Get a poke. Back off. Save your Q. If you think that she's going to go for the all-in, you can auto Q. If you're not critting it, it'll be decent damage. Combined with Ignite and your minions and your bone plating, you should be able to do that. Tryndamere is going to be very similar. Oh, I should mention for Fiora, I have found both Legend Tenacity and Legend Alacrity tend to work. So just go whichever you need more. If they have a lot of stuns, go with Legend Alacrity. If they don't have stuns, if they have a lot of stuns, go Legend Tenacity. If they don't have any stuns on their team, just go Legend Alacrity. It helps you attack more, which is good. It helps you animate your attacks faster, which allows you to back off. And that's important too. Recognize which side Fiora has her weak point on. If she hits a good one and she continues to chase, back off. Don't play forward into Fiora. I know I said Tryndamere, but we're still talking about Fiora. Don't play forward into Fiora. Let her attack you. Keep backing off. Now remember, if you're backing away from her, even if she goes for the auto attack, if you back away during the animation, she doesn't get the weak point proc if it's now at a range. So make her try to get Q in order to get her weak point procs. If she backs away, start throwing Qs out at her. Just try to get minion aggro. Just play back with bone plating. You will outscale into team fights, and you will be able to eventually poke her down once you get some points in your Q and you get that cooldown down. So just play back. You outscale at least like at level 7. Then, you know, at level 9, you're pretty strong. She'll obviously come back from there and outscale you hard. But there is a point where your Q cooldown will be low enough that you can poke her down and just play safe, just play back with bone plating. Tryndamere is going to be basically the same thing. Legend Alacrity or Legend Tenacity. If their team has a lot of stuns, go Legend Tenacity. If they don't, Legend Alacrity. It doesn't really change the matchup that much. Getting the lower duration on his slow can be pretty good, but it's not super important. Go bone plating, because Tryndamere, he's going to try to gap close into you, and you're going to use the bone plating to reduce the damage. if you can land a good, if he haphazardly ease into you and starts autoing, you can auto into a Q, into a W. Then when he tries to get out of the W, you use your Q2, your horizontal Q, you use that one. You knock him, he gets pulled back into your W, auto into Q3 with Ignite over him to deny his Q healing and just to get more damage. And you can actually kill him. Trinimir's tanky, but if he's eat into you in the middle of your minion wave, or into your casters, and your casters are hitting him, and you have Ignite, and you're hitting with your entire Q combo, starting from level 3, you can basically drop him with that. So level 3, 4, 5, play back with Bone Plating, try to get poke when you can, but to be honest, sometimes I feel poking Trinimir is pointless due to his healing. Just, once again, same with Fjord, you outscale, like at level 7 to 9, then he'll start pulling it back, but at least at those levels, you can typically pop his ult in one combo if you land a good combo. Save your ultimate for his ghost. That's important. If he ghosts, just immediately ult in the opposite direction. It feels bad because you're wasting your ultimate, but if you try, if you don't know, if you're not sure you can get away from his ghost, then just ult in the other direction. Or you're going to take so much damage, you're going to die, or you're going to be too low, or he's going to be able to go all in. Sometimes he pops ghost, you just ult away. Your ult is movement speed. The movement speed is the first 2 seconds your ult are the majority of the movement speed. You will outrun ghost for those 2 seconds so you can get away from him. For Aatrox against Aatrox, you're playing blind pick. I don't know. Irelia, ban Irelia. Just ban Irelia. Garen, this matchup is actually really hard, and I'm gonna be dead honest, it can be a bit frustrating. So the general idea, bone plating or second wind, I prefer bone plating. Both are kind of useless, to be honest with you. What you're gonna do against Garen is, if he has his Q, he can escape your combo. If he doesn't have Q, he can't. So a good thing to do is to throw out some Qs, see if he Qs back into you. If he does, then you can throw a W on him. Like, even if he Qs into you and silences and starts using Judgment, just turn around, pop your Ignite on him, hit him with the W, use the Q2 or the Q3 so that he gets stunned over your chain. It'll pull him back in, and just try to go for the kill on him. It's a hard matchup, I'll be dead honest, but early game you have more damage than him. Level 6, it can be really frustrating because from half health you're basically dead, but just try to bully him early game, use your passive, use your Qs, use all that. You're stronger than him early game. I know Aatrox isn't stronger than a lot of champions early game, but he's definitely stronger than Garen. Jace, okay, this one's important. Second wind, revitalize, Dorn shield. That's gonna, basically every melee champion, that's what you need to do into Jace. But on Aatrox is particularly useful. I have found, me personally, the best way to play into Jace is to go into the lane level 1 and just try to push, or at least take lane priority. Make sure he can't beat you to level 2. Just start auto-attacking the minion wave. Jace, if he gets level 2, he's gonna ranged Q, ranged shot, melee Q, get on you, hit you with the, he's just gonna kill you, right? You don't want to die. A good thing to do, make sure that you try to at least match him to level 2. His auto attacks aren't going to do that much damage through second wind bone plating. Or sorry, second wind Dorn shield. You can try to chuck out a Q1 to hit him. If you knock him up after he autos you, the casters will hit him too. Because he'll be stunned, he won't be able to run away from the casters. So just sort of play like that. Try to get to level 2. By level 3, you can kind of start using your W and going for all-ins once his movement speed boost is down. If he has phase rush, you're kind of fucked. If he doesn't have phase rush, just wait for his movement speed boost to be down. Just start. Once you have your Q, you can kind of start playing a little bit forwards. If you're level 3, you can start playing forwards, start going aggressively into him. Once again, second wind and Dorn shield will give you a very large health advantage. So next is Darius. Now, okay, so Darius is going to be a bit of a difficult one to talk about. Okay. Much like I talked about Trinimir, if Darius starts ghosting at you, and you're not sure you're going to win, and you're not sure you're going to get away, just promptly ult and run in the other direction. You'll outrun him, he'll waste his ghost, his is on a longer cooldown. I know it's your ultimate, I know once again it feels bad to waste your ultimate, but I promise you that is probably better. For runes, second wind or bone plating can really depend on a lot. Bone plating can be good into Darius if you're going for the all-in. Second wind is good too. They're both good. I think second wind might overall be better because if you get whacked by a random Q, you'll actually heal like 10 plus HP over it. So as for unflinching or revitalize, I've gone through both. Some people like unflinching into Darius who can move around a little bit more. I think revitalize comes out a little bit better despite that. It's one thing I should mention. Revitalize sort of can do okay into Fiora, Tryndamere, Jace. I mean, it's okay. If you want to experiment with it, it can let you maneuver a little bit better with its slow resist and its tenacity. Overall, for Darius, your primary goal is going to be to level 1 and 2, play in between his Qs. What I mean is kind of like walk up. If he uses a Q, just walk the other direction. If he walks up to you with his Q at level 1, just walk inside of it. Hit him with a passive and then just sort of back away. He can't, if he's gone Q at level 1, he can't do much. If he's gone W at level 1, you can run Q trains on his face and actually win the trades that way. Just walk out, just walk away. That's something a lot of people need to know. Don't catch yourself off into an all-in against Darius. Just walk away. Like sometimes, honestly, you just need to walk away. That's like so many of these matchups. I'm telling you, a lot of you guys need to learn when to just walk away. Like, oh, I've used my Q. I'm gonna just walk away. Like, I don't have cooldowns. I'm gonna just walk away. And that's good. Now, Ignite into Darius is extremely good. Ignite into all these matchups, by the way. Ignite into Darius shuts down his Q healing, so he can't pull into a Q, heal, and... Because remember, your damage is super limited. If he heals, you're not gonna have enough damage to kill him. Now, the two ways this is gonna play out after first back. If he goes with a tanky item, like what is that item called? Bramble Vest. If he's got Bramble Vest or Ninja Tabby, you're probably not going to be able to kill him in one combo anymore. Darius's base armor and his Q healing and all that, you're probably not going to be able to do it. So at that point, you want to poke away at him, use W's, back off when he's stunned from your W or your Q. Just kind of poke away like you normally would, and just don't let him get the all-in. Use your ult to run away if he goes. Now, if he doesn't go tanky, you can kill him in a single combo. So with Ignite, if you land the Ignite and you land your Q combo, remember Darius, other than using Ghost or Flash, cannot escape your QW. So if you land that QW and you land the Ignite, you can kill him pretty much for free. It's really bad for him. So a lot of Darius players will try to build more damage and try to one-shot Aatrox. Just trade back with him and you'll kill him. With Ignite, that is, if you have Ignite. For Gangplank, this one can be a bit fucky-wucky. The general idea here is second wind plus Doran's shield. Try to tank through his initial pokes. Try to get lane priority. It can be a bit difficult, but don't let him beat you to level 2 and start lane or zoning you. And if he does, then just sit back. I mean, you can't regain lane priority against Gangplank. He's just going to Q spam indefinitely while sitting over a barrel. But once you're level 3, you can start doing Q combos over a W. Gangplank is not the best at escaping your W unless he pops a barrel right during it. So kind of just save your W, save it for when he's trying to play dumb. Ignite can shut down his W, remove scurvy healing. That's really important. If he uses remove scurvy, and that's his W, you know, it's the heal thing, he can't actually get out of any of your abilities with remove scurvy, so he's going to use it to heal because Aatrox's damage is super limited. If you ignite him, you do a shitload of damage because you're denying all that remove scurvy healing in addition to the ignite heal. You'll kill him in one combo. Gangplank will die if you land a solid combo probably about level 4, and that's something you need to practice and get good at. Know what items and know what levels you can start one-shotting a champion in your combo if you land the full combo, because then you can start playing super aggressive and forward, knowing that your opponent is going to have to not fight back, have to focus on dodging your abilities, maybe use summoners, stuff like that. And if they have to focus only on dodging your abilities, you can hit them with some of them, they'll dodge some, and then you just back away, taking the free damage because they weren't fighting back. Set. Now, Set is going to be bone plating. You're going to go bone plating. Now, if Set runs up, he pulls you with his E and whacks you. The bone plating will reduce a lot of his damage, which is really good, obviously. Play back early on. Some Set players will just sort of let you whack him with E or sorry, whack you. Some set players will let you whack him with Q and E poke, but some will just walk into your Q and pull, and you're going to take way more damage than you'll do to him. What you can do is throw a Q over him and E away when he goes for the pull, but sometimes the game and its lag compensation will let him get the pull anyway, and then you're kind of fucked. If you have bone plating, you'll likely survive, but you're going to be at pretty low health. Now, once you get level 3, you can use your Q and your W to get good trades into him. Now, like all times with Set, what you need to remember is that he can only land his full W damage in 2 situations. One, he's pulled you with his E, and he, as you stun, then he stuns into W and you die. In which case, you need to wonder, why did you let him full charge his passive on you? Why did you let him do that with all his abilities still available? If you were just running combos on his face, then back away before he does that. Just whack him with 1 or 2 Qs, poke him down, and then back away, or use a W or something like that, because you have a lot of disengage tools. Your Q knocks up, your W pulls, so there's lots of ways for you to do damage and leave your opponent in a way where you can just back away. The second way I should say that he can hit his W is if you're in the middle of a Q animation. Now, if he W's into your first Q, well, it has no shield. You haven't hit him yet. On your second Q, really, still at this point, he doesn't have a W shield. You'll likely break the shield, and then you go for your third Q over a W, and he'll take way more damage and lose the trade. So, realistically, he's going to try to W. He's going to try to Haymaker, get the shield, get the huge damage during your third Q. What you can do is just not use a third Q. Just back away. Just go, I hit you with my first Q, my second Q, maybe my passive, maybe the W pulled him back. Just back away. Just literally walk away. Don't give him the opportunity to use the ability, knowing full well that you will lose that trade. Camille. Camille's a bit of a tough one, but I would say the best way to beat Camille is to let her try to all-in you through bone plating. The bone plating will deny enough damage. So once again, we're looking at bone plating. The bone plating will deny the healing on her W. So if she uses the W, the leg sweep, for some reason bone plating procs on it and removes the entire healing, which is weird, but okay. So you can charge a Q during that W. You'll go even in the trade, but you kind of want to land your full combo on Camille, and a lot of that is letting her hit you and just out-trading her. It's weird to say, but that's kind of what you do. If she's used her E, or she's used her W, she's used her Q, and she doesn't have any escape moves left, particularly her E, you can just go for a combo on her, and you should win that one. You should. So basically, she's going to have to play defensively and save her abilities to get out of your combo. It kind of comes down to cooldown management. I'm sure at the lower ranks, most Camille players aren't good enough to manage their cooldowns well enough to get out of all your abilities and stuff. So again, it's just going to come down to, if she has her passive up, you can maybe land an auto attack to, just to reduce the cooldown on your passive, just to get more healing. But save your Q until after her passive is over, then try to whack her with Qs over a W, pop ignite, all in, dead. Riven. Now, Riven is a little bit more complicated. You kind of need to get... She's absurdly overpowered right now. So, a lot of the good advice I give you, you can still lose, because she'll literally just brute force through with how broken she is and win anyway. But, with Riven, you want to go bone plating, because she can triple proc bone plating in a fraction of a second by doing 9 animation cancels. Bone plating allows you to not instantly die to her combo. So the general strategy that I would recommend is know when she's used all her abilities, and at that point you can trap her in your W and Q combo, ignite, all-in, kill. That's a lot of these strategies are to trap people in your W when they can't escape it, all-in for the kill. So what you want to do on Riven is toss that Q1 out. If she jumps into you, you can kind of back away a little bit. It's a hard thing to do, but a lot of Riven players will just instantly start Qing or Eing into you when you use your Q. And if you E backwards during your cast time, you'll catch them in the crit zone. And then you'll knock them out of their ability. Their cooldowns will be used, and then you can sort of play the lane. starting from levels 7 to 9, once again 7 to 9, your Q cooldown will be low enough that you can actually chuck out pokes. A good thing to do is to let your Q, like throw a Q out there, she'll back off a little bit. If you E it forwards, right at the end, you can get a crit. Or sometimes what you can do is not E it forwards, even though you can. She'll E backwards, she'll use her shield backwards, and then you built up a lot of time where she doesn't have her shield, she doesn't have that gap closer, and you've got priority over the lane for that time. So definitely Riven, really overpowered right now. She will likely brute force through you playing well, but just sort of, once again, use that bone plating, play back, chuck out Qs. A lot of this is going to be down to tripping up your opponent, letting them fuck up, so that you can just combo them and win. Okay, for Sion, throw down a W, chuck Qs, half health them, back off, wait for your cooldowns, do it again. Sion's not hard. Literally just Q over a W, he can't escape it, you win. That's it. Don't try to fight him in his minion wave when you don't have cooldowns, because he's going to outdamage you because he's in the minion wave. Or sometimes you can, because his early game health and armor is really bad. This is probably Sion's... This is a really bad matchup for Sion. I don't think it's the worst matchup. It's a bad one. Jax. Okay. So Jax is really weak to bone plating. If Jax leap strikes on you, hits counter strike, auto attacks into a W, he's already triple procced bone plating. In fact, if he jumps on you, auto attacks into a W without even counter strike, he's already triple procced bone plating, because his W procs the W and the W damage, the auto reset, so it does the magic damage and the auto attack from that, both proc bone plating. Sit back with bone plating, chuck out Qs. Jax is not the greatest armor. He will take a lot of damage. Level 1, don't let him get to level 2 and leap strike into a counter strike. You will take a lot of damage. It will suck. So try to keep right over the lane. Just keep chucking Qs on you. If he jumps on you, back off. He's probably going to counter strike. You can absorb the counter strike with your bone plating. At this point, do a Q1 into an auto, into a Q2, into an auto. Probably hit the W before the Q2. If you hit the W before the Q2 while backing off, check where he's going. If you crit him with the Q2, he might be knocked into the W. If he gets pulled into the W, do an auto attack, Q3 with an ignite, he dies from full. So if you have level 3, Jax actually needs to be more careful than a lot of Jax players are. He clearly outscales you, and he outscales you really hard, but you can zone him off CS with your Q, threatening him, poking him down. If he's not at full HP, it's really easy to full combo him. With your bone plating, he can, like once every 45 seconds, so every 1.5 minion waves, you can basically full deny his all in. Don't let him poke off the bone plating. He has no way to poke it off anyway, so if you're letting him just auto attack and back off, you're an idiot. Chuck out those Qs. If he's low, you can E forwards and try to get some Q poke on him, you know, because if he Qs in, then you won't need your E backwards. He's just going to die to the W. Just be careful with that. And honestly, with the bone plating, just the key issues with Jax, I would say, if he beats you to level 2, he's just going to instantly leap strike. He will put a point in and he will just instantly start spamming Q on you. The second thing is counter strike. Just don't let him counter strike your passive. It's pretty obvious when he's going for counter strike. You can try to like start a you can kind of walk up to him, start a passive hit, and he'll counter strike. Just start the passive hit, back off. He'll counter strike. It'll feel bad for him because at this point, then he'll have to decide, do I go for the all in? If he goes for the all in, then you have priority over the lane for like 16 seconds. Even at that point, trading bone plating for his counter strike can be worth it because you'll deny him a lot of CS. You can beat him up off the minion wave. You can force him potentially just a leap strike backwards, and you'll build a 3-4 CS off that one. And this is important. Jax players will often play down by like 20 to 30 CS. Don't feel like you need every CS. If it puts you in a bad position, you can give up one to play a little bit more defensively and play a little bit safer, okay? Shen, level 1, it can be a bit dangerous to fight Shen. Now, this is another bone plating matchup. You outrange him, you have bone plating, chuck out Qs, poke him. Don't try to poke into his shield. That's literally pointless other than giving yourself a tiny bit of healing. Try to play with the minion wave. Try to keep minion aggro. If he E's into you over a minion wave, your bone plating will absorb it. Particularly because Shen's auto attack with his Q does 2 bone plating procs. So just E auto already hits 2 of the 3 bone plating. So just play back, play safe, hit him with Qs. If he goes for the all-in, if he E's into you, he can't escape it anymore. So at that point, put down the W, keep your Q2. Your Q2, if you E backwards on your Q2, like, look at the positioning on all these champions that use their abilities and stuff. Look at the positioning. Even if they're next to you, what will often happen is you'll put down a W, they'll start trying to run for the side. Just back off, Q2 them. So, like, back away from them, which it's hard to get into the habit of doing, but walk away from them and Q2, that's better than walking into them and chasing them out of the W. So, you back off, you Q2, they get pulled back into the W, you do an auto Q3 with Ignite. This one, ironically, might not actually kill Shen, though. Shen, with his dodge, with his shield spam, Shen's one of these champions who, even if you land your perfect combo, they're not going to die very likely. But the thing is, by landing your perfect combo, you'll do so much healing that Shen's more limited damage won't be able to keep up with you. Now, you can kill him. He doesn't have the best health. He doesn't have the best armor. Save your passive. If he has his dodge field down, don't passive hit into it. But here's the thing, if he has his dodge field down, feel free to auto attack him to get your passive to a lower cooldown. Even though he's gonna dodge it, you have nothing better to do. Just attack into it anyway. Shen's dodge is weird and janky, and you'll reduce the cooldown of your passive just by attacking into it. It's super weird, it's super janky, but trust me, it actually does work like that. So that's how I play the Shen matchup. Once again, this is gonna be a matchup of playing back with bone plating, play back with bone plating, do some just Q poke. If you can get him into a position, sometimes what I'll do is I'll use my W, even though I know he can taunt away from it, just because it forces him to taunt away from it, and that gives you an advantage. As for Yone, oh boy, Yone's a bit difficult, particularly because Yone's can be really bad or really good, practically at random. There's honestly not a lot I can say about this one. This one can get a bit complicated. I'm not gonna lie to you right now. So Yone, level 1, you outrange his Q, and a lot of Yone players, if you walk up and then back off, they'll Q, assuming that you're gonna walk the full way up. So you can walk up, back off, drop a Q real quick, and he'll Q into you not being there and take damage. Other than that, once again, it's a bit trickier. Sometimes I'll go second wind, sometimes I go bone plating. I think overall bone plating is better, even though his W can poke it off. Because a lot of times in the early game, if he Ws, you can trade with a Q. I know it shields, and this is where it gets complicated, because you have to know when to go all in on Yone. He's a little bit squishy, so if he does play dumb and he does get hit by your abilities, he'll die. If he doesn't play dumb and you go for the all-in, then you'll use all your abilities, have no escapes because your Aatrox stand next to him and you'll just die. So, I think one of the most important things for Yone, and for a lot of these champions as a whole, is to use your Q2 with your E. If you throw out a Q1 and they dodge it or they do something, you Q2, E it forwards, poke them, and then you can just get some poke and back off. But the thing is, if you do that, if you E forwards and he still has every ability, he might just immediately use his little Z ult, gap close forward, and just start spamming damage on you and you'll die. At that point, what you likely need to do, auto attack into a Q3, try to crit the Q3 because he's just autoing you, so it shouldn't be that hard, but it might be a little bit hard because he has permanent movement speed during his Z ult. Try to get the auto Q3 passive hit, maybe with an ignite. If you've poked him down enough, or if he's taking enough minion aggro, this might be enough to kill him. Sometimes what you gotta understand is you just want people to fuck off. You just want to bully them, like hit them with the Q3 and just be like, dude, fuck off. And sometimes they'll back off, and thinking that you have more damage than you do. So again, this matchup is a little bit weird, but yeah, it just kind of comes down to hit him with some damage because you don't need to hit that much to kill him. But if you overextend, being a little bit too impatient to hit him, he's just gonna hard punish you and you'll die. So throw out those Q1s, those Q2s, even from half health, auto Q3 crit auto with maybe a passive on one of them is likely just gonna kill him with an ignite. He's pretty squishy. Later in the game, obviously that's not true with Shield Bow and his W and the lifesteal, but particularly in the early game, in the laning phase, by level 4, yeah, he's pretty squishy and your Qs do a good chunk of hunk of damage. Malphite. So Malphite is just second wind, Dorn Shield. You'll pretty much out-heal him. Hit him with Qs. If he chucks a Q at you, what you can do is, if he's chucking the Q at you, he'll get movement speed, but he has to cast his Q. So if you W into a Q, then E forwards the Q2, you'll double crit him. He'll likely be pulled back from the W because he spent so much time getting knocked up and animating his abilities. Then you hit him with the passive into the Q3, back off at that point. If you used all your abilities, unless you have Ignite, and unless Malphite is going to die, just back off. His Grasp Band dying, his armor, his E, his W, his attack speed, so all that shit is gonna likely win him the trade, particularly because he's gonna pull back into his minion wave and the minions will start hitting you. But realistically, with second wind, you shouldn't have that much of an issue. Sometimes if he Q spams enough, he can actually get you low, and obviously you have to watch out for the ult with the jungler. But overall, Malphite's not really that bad. I don't really consider this that difficult of a matchup, not really. It's really just second wind, Dorn Shield, just trade well, and you'll eventually poke him out. Later in the game, it's a little bit different, but early in the game, yeah, it's pretty much it. So, Gnar. Okay, Gnar I would actually consider. You guys have seen me play Gnar into Aatrox. I don't consider Gnar to be that amazing of a champion right now, but I think he particularly can play well into Aatrox. The reason for that is Mega Gnar slows really bad. Aatrox doesn't have an escape. Mega Gnar is too tanky for Aatrox's cooldowns to kill because he's going to run out of Qs before Mega Gnar runs out of HP. Mega Gnar is good sustain damage, and with a simple Bramble Vest, Gnar can just gap close into you in Mega Gnar and just sort of burn you down. And it's a bit difficult, particularly because in Mini Gnar, he has a really small hitbox and high movement speed that enables him to try to evade you. So a bad Gnar player, you can beat the crap out of in his mini form and hit him with Qs and kill him. A good Gnar will try to avoid you, go into Mega Gnar and beat the crap out of you. So the main thing you need to avoid is getting Olined by Mega Gnar. Now, obviously, you can back off. You can use your second wind and your Doran Shield to out-heal his mini Gnar poke. You need to, when you know he's going to try to go for Mega Gnar, just try to back off, crit him with Qs, get him over the W, just try to pull him away from you, or just simply E away, just simply walk away sometimes. That's what you need to get in the habit of against some of these matchups again is, look, if you can't win, you just got to walk away. Because Aatrox isn't the sort of champion that can make some crazy outplay and, oh my god, he landed the block. Like, yeah, I mean, the thing is, again, even if you do land the triple Q crit over your W, double passive hit, Mega Gnar is going to be too tanky. He's just not going to die to it. And he's just going to out DPS you, and he'll end up having more cooldowns because Mega Gnar's cooldowns are way lower than yours. So, try to see how good he is early in the match. If you think you can triple crit him, or even double crit him in the Mini Gnar form, then he'll likely die. Mini Gnar is pretty squishy. However, in the Mega Gnar form, you gotta be careful. If he plays really dumb and you get the triple crit over the Ignite with your W, multiple passive hits, yeah, sometimes you can burn him down if he doesn't go Bramble Vest. But if he has gone Bramble Vest and he just, uses the E into you, if he just jumps into you and it bounces off the minion of Mega Gnar and he ults you back and starts whacking away at you, yeah, that's pretty difficult to deal with, and I would highly recommend you don't get yourself in that situation. Akali, oh boy, okay, so Akali, you're looking at second wind. She'll easily poke off bone plating. Even though bone plating would be good conceptually, she'll just poke it off. You're looking at second wind. Now, Akali does have low armor, so if you land your abilities on her, she will die. The issue is you can't really land your abilities on her. If you Q and E it forwards, she's just going to throw her shuriken, which knocks her backwards. Then she jumps into you. So now she's dodged your ability, and she's next to you, and she's done a shitload of damage, and you're likely going to die. So try to keep minions between you and her. Q her over the minion wave. Trade your Qs with her Q because you'll outdamage her. Try to avoid her ult combo. The second she hits level 6, she's just going to ult into you into a smoke screen. And it's just going to be Q auto, ult 2, you're dead from full over the ignite. So try to avoid that. Use the minion wave. If you do land your combo, or if you do cancel her movement abilities with your Q knockup, she dies in a W combo pretty much for free. The issue is, if she's good at Akali, she won't get killed over your W because she's going to save an ability for it. I found the trick often comes down to harassing her enough, winning the trades, out CSing her, and that's something that's important. Against Gnar, you can out CS him. Against Malphite, you can out CS him. A lot of these champions will try to avoid your Q, and if you can get them, if you can make them avoid your Q, you can out CS them and come out ahead just off lane bullying them. And with Ignite over your W combo, you can kill basically every champion. And that's just Akali. There's not really that much to say because a lot of it comes down to, is Akali dumb? If she's not dumb, oops. Mordekaiser. Okay, now Mordekaiser is basically going to be the same thing, but slightly different. If you go too obvious, he's just going to E you, and he's going to pull you in, and then you're going to take a shitload of damage and lose the trade. Now, you can save your E for his E, and that's how you win it. So, generally speaking, what you do is you chuck a Q out, he Qs you, you Q2. Do you crit him with both of those, then you'll outtrade his Q. You can E backwards, potentially, and avoid his Q. You can bait out his Q. You have a lot more mobility than he does, and you have a lot more ability to play the trade. He has the ability to win the all-in. So that's how you need to play it. Now, before level 6, if he's over a W, you basically just get a free trade. With Ignite, he can basically die from half health without much of an issue. Without Ignite, well, you just poke him down. So poke him down, build up that CS advantage, see if you can get him with a W for the full combo. You won't kill him with a full combo. His W is 30% health. It's too tanky. You won't kill that. But you will in the trades. You will poke him down. That's generally what you want to do. Now, the one trick is if he ults, it will put him into a different realm with you, which means your W goes away. So don't find yourself in a position where you're trying to go for the all-in, he ults out of your W, steals your health, steals your armor, suddenly you're trapped in there with him, you've used your E forwards, you've used your ult movement speed to go forwards. In that situation, he'll win. But again, maybe with Ignite, if he hasn't built tanky in particular, you can just burst him. But if he has built tanky, well, just go for the poking. He has enough sustained damage to kill you, even if he's built tanky. Renekton. Okay, so Renekton is kind of one of these champions, once again. You're going to go bone plating. In the Mord, I would probably go second win. In the Renekton, I would probably go bone plating. He can Q it off. Just try not to let him Q it off. Now, if he double E's forward, he can't escape your combo. So then just W combo and you'll win the trade. Most of the time. Sometimes he'll win because he's Renekton and he's really strong early game. So that's what you can do. You can avoid his early game by just chucking Qs at him. If he goes into your minion wave, great. He's gone into your minion wave. He's attacking in your minion wave. Land the full combo. Get the multi-passive hits. You win. Drop the Ignite to stop his Q healing. That's pretty much about it. Worry for his level 6 all-in because that thing will beat you. It'll just beat you. His level 6 all-in will beat you. Sorry to say. Just avoid that, particularly if he goes Ignite. There's not much you can do about that one other than just avoid it. So, chuck Q's out, bait him into double E'ing into you. Once he's done that double E, just land the full combo. If he's smart, he's going to not try to force all-ins and let you get a chance against him. He's just going to zone you off the minion wave. In that situation, you just need to drop CS. If he hasn't used his abilities, you can't really go up to a minion because he's just going to go up to you. If you use a Q too close to him, he'll just use one E into you. Then he'll start comboing, you go for another ability, he'll E out of that ability, and then suddenly you're out of damage and you're dead. So just be wary of that. That's how you would lose, is if he can use both E's to dodge your damage, you're gonna lose. Kayle, this one's not too difficult to be honest. Kayle needs to stand still to fight back. So if you use your W, she can't stand still, which means she can't fight back. If she doesn't have a movement speed buff, she can't do much about it. So Level 1 to 5, it mostly comes about just try to catch her in your W combo. Just try to catch her in your Qs. She will actually beat you in the all-in, but Ignite will let you beat her. Most Kales don't go Ignite. If she goes Ignite, don't just level 1 hit every ability then stand there autoing her. She's obviously going to win that. She's Kale. She actually has sustained damage. You don't. So don't do that. That'd be dumb. That's about it. Watch out for her ultimate, but you can easily bait her into ulting by landing the W combo. In such a situation, if you expect her to ult, that's what you gotta watch out. Expect her to ult, because she will ult, because she's Kale. It's her ultimate. Don't be stupid. Expect her to ult. If you don't respect that champions will use their abilities properly, you're an idiot. And that's about it. So if you go for the Q3, expect, like if she's on your W and you're going for the Q3, she's obviously gonna ult. In that situation, just start backing away, like E away during your Q3 if she's ulting, and just like walk away. Then come back once your Q cooldown is back and finish her off. Finish the job, so to speak. Graves. Okay, this one's complicated because Graves is kind of like Riven. If you do everything right, sometimes he can just brute force his way through it. Ignite is good into Graves because it denies all his healing. Most will go Fleet Footwork or some sort of Omnivamp item. So Ignite will deny his healing. It also has true damage, so it helps with the fact he's got lots of armor. So early game, you're going to look for a Q. If he uses his E, if he uses his Gap Closer, you can easily drop a W, trap him in the full combo over an Ignite. Sometimes he can tank through it and win, but if you land it all, he should die. He should. That's about it for Graves. It's not really that complicated because there's not that much you're looking out for. It's a typical ranged champion. Hit him with Qs, back off, let the minions win you the trades, and yeah, that's honestly that's about it. Realistically, with Graves, just if he uses Quick Draw, if he uses his Gap Closer, drop a W, start comboing him, drop the Ignite, Q3, passive hit, he dies. Nasus. So with Nasus, what you gotta do a lot of times, let him push. You just gotta let him push. Sometimes you can hit him, and it's best to just not. But if you can land that full combo, Nasus level 1 to 5, he can't escape the combo, and he will lose to the all-in. So you win that one. That's good for you. You only really need 2 combos to kill Nasus. As tanky as he is, as much lifesteal as he is, 2 combos will kill him. So with Ignite in particular, you can often chase him down and murder him. Post 6, he's going to Wither and Ghost and ult, and he'll be too tanky to kill with the health and the armor of his ultimate, and the lifesteal and all that stuff. You won't be able to burst him, even with Ignite. So what you gotta do in that situation is play smart, go for the pokes, but always leave yourself an out. Meaning, poke him with your Qs, but if he starts ghosting forwards, E backwards during your Q, knock him up, try to outlast the Wither, save maybe your ult movement speed to run away really fast. Maybe make sure your trade ends with him over a W so he gets pulled back. Nasus needs to sit next to you to do sustained damage, so much like Darius, if you end your trades or you go for pokes in a way where he ends up knocked up, not in range, then he's going to find it very difficult. That's basically the same concept with Volibear. Now, don't get all-ined by Volibear. If he has the W on you and you haven't killed him, you won't win that. Just back off. With a lot of these champions, once again, you need to learn to just back off. Just back the fuck off. Okay? You're not gonna beat him if he has a W on you. I don't care that you're about to get to another Q. I don't care that, oh, I'm so close. He's gonna W. It's gonna do a lot of damage. He's got his passive up. He's hitting you hard. He's gonna heal. You're not gonna beat him before he beats you. Take the good trade, walk away. Take the good trade, walk away. Okay? If you have more health than him, you've won. You can then continue to poke him down. He can only go for all-ins. If he goes for all-ins, trap him over the W, potentially with Ignite. You can get the kill if he's not at full HP. If he is at full HP, well, his E shield and his W healing, you're likely not getting that one, okay? Urgot, hit him with lots of Qs. And if he tries to trade, you've got second wind, door, and shield. If he E's forward, you can see when he gets the shield, that's when he's starting to E. Just dodge it with your E, left or right, drop him over a W, start whacking with the full trade. You likely won't kill him, but you drop Ignite and you chase him down with auto attacks. His sustained damage isn't so much higher than yours that he'll kill you. If you use Ignite, he'll likely just drop down and die. Sometimes he won't. It really depends on the situation, how many minions are helping, what each person's health started at. But generally speaking, it comes down to poking him with Qs, watching out for his E, dodge the E. Once you've dodged the E, he can't really hit that many passive hits on you because you have the movement speed with your ult to continue to play where he's already hit a leg on you. And you got a leg up on him in this one. I think it's definitely very winnable. It's frustrating because if he does hit you with an E, you'll die from full. Very likely. So you just got to look out for that. Just avoid that. Play very carefully and play very much around the fact that you have to dodge his E. And if you do, he's helpless and now you get to full combo him and beat the shit out of him. Teemo, you're going to try to trap him over a W with your Qs. Early game, like most of these ranged champions, you're using second wind. You're just trying to absorb his poke, hit him back. With a good Ignite flash play, you can pretty easily kill him. Once again, this is kind of like a Kali. If they're really smart and know what they're doing, they'll avoid enough of your damage that you can't kill them, so you can't even exploit the fact that they're squishy. So a lot of it comes down to, do you win trades? Do you go for the all-in? Note how smart they are. How smart are they? You know, and if they're too smart, then, well, you're not realistically going to be able to win that one. How many more do I have to go through? Okay. I'm not gonna, maybe we'll do a part 2 of this video because Jesus Christ, we're nearly an hour in. And Ornn, same as Sion, but he can escape your combo using his W. Just try to trade and beat the shit out of him using Ignite to get the kill. Gragas, second wind. That avoids most of his combos. If he E's into you, if you have a Q3 up, you can Q3. He body slams into you, you whack him with a Q3. You win that one. Just poke him, particularly if his body slam is down, or if you do dodge his body slam, he's fucked and you kill him for free. Yorick, okay. Your ultimate fears his minions and Maiden. If you save your ultimate for potentially your second Q chain, and he goes all in on you, expecting the minions and his Maiden to win, try to get close to them to get the fear on them, fear them away, go for the all in over your W, you'll kill him, drop the Ignite, he's dead. Gwen, you want to play, this is a bone plating one. You're gonna play back, and you're just gonna run away from her. That's it, that's about it. It's really hard to all-in Gwen because her W and her E. If she's used her E and she's used her W, obviously you can land everything. That's important to know. If she's used every ability, then you can use all your abilities and beat the shit out of her. Ta-da! Illaoi, dodge her E. I mean, it's Illaoi. There's not much to say about this one, okay? Do I need to find the Illaoi matchup? Dodge her E, go for the all-in with Ignite, burn her down. If you can't burn her down, she's obviously going to win the all-in because you have the shittiest sustained damage of all time as Aatrox. I have to repeat that a lot for you guys, don't I? Cho'Gath, dodge his abilities, go for the all-in. You'll likely win. Cho'Gath has worse sustained damage than you. He's about hitting his Qs to knock up and using his E's, Ignite, ult, that stuff. He can't dodge your QW though, so land the full combo, whack him away, back off, return, whack him with the full combo again. Pretty easy. Akshan, this one's difficult. If Akshan knows what he's doing, he can very easily beat the crap out of you. Don't throw down your W until he's used his hook shot or you're close to him. You can knock him out of his hook shot though, or his grappling hook, and then he just kind of dies. Drop the W, he's pretty much just gonna die. Crit him over it, dead. This one comes down to using second wind to play safe and back. Kennen, okay, Kennen is basically the same thing. Second wind. Kennen, if he doesn't have lightning rush, just full combo him, he dies from full. That's about it. This matchup I've never found too much difficulty in. Sometimes you can get into a shitty situation where you go for your passive, mini stun, passive, mini stun, passive, mini stun, and you like 3 seconds go by and you haven't done anything. That can suck, but the matchup as a whole, poke him with Qs, use second wind, Doran shield to out heal. Wukong, okay. Wukong, ignite, ult, you're dead from full. Play around that. You just gotta play around that. Just don't let him get into a situation where you can just E forward, Q, ult, over and ignite, you just die. Use bone plating, stand back. Level 1, he'll likely beat you even through bone plating. But level 2 onwards, use your passive, use the caster minions, use your Qs. Just hit him with everything, particularly if you have a bone plating. You'll win the trade, and then just back the fuck off. Don't fight him if you don't have your Qs, if you don't have your passive, if you don't have your bone plating. He will win, he will kill you, he will run you down. Run away. Same thing with Trundle. Basically the same idea. If you ignite ults, you're gonna die. Hit him with Qs, hit him with Ws, back off, use your bone plating, get the good trades, walk the fuck away. Vayne is basically Kennen in a way, but not. No, she's more like. What's Vayne like? Vayne's like Vayne. You gotta trick. Your W does give stealth, so just kind of whack her over that and back off. Singed, hit him over a W. Okay, I'm not gonna go over the rest of these because there's like 20 more to go. The general idea is basically we're 50 minutes in. Second wind, bone plating. If you have bone plating, whack them with Qs. Use the bone plating, deny their all-in, hit them with the W, ignite, kill them. If you have second wind, go for good, solid trades. Use the second wind to give you enough healing to win the trade. That will basically be all these combos. This video probably got pretty repetitive, but that, I would say that one is good. So that, I would say, is a pretty good Aatrox guide for practically every fucking possible champion. This is a good way to fight them. Later on here, I started phoning it in because I realized I didn't want to be here for 5 fucking hours. So there you go. There's almost every single matchup. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, everybody. And have a great rest of your day. I might just upload this unedited. If I do that, special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Special shout out to my YouTube member supporters. Thank you, particularly my Patreon supporters. You guys are the best. Don't take offense, anyone else who supports me. Thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, thank you everyone. You can find a link to my Patreon in the description. Thank you, everybody.